I think, Jonathan, you're going to be great. This is going to be great. We're going to have a very different opinions maybe on this. Jonathan, I think you said you took this right after about a year out of school. Tell me about your thoughts about taking the exam right afterward.
Well, my situation is a bit unique because when I graduated from college, it was during the recession. It was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me, 4 or 5 years to actually find a job in architecture. And so with that mindset of already being behind as it is, further behind that I wanted to be in life,
Mm-hmm.
I decided that it's kind of like now or never. So I need to get it done. And so that's why I decided, okay, I gave myself the year. I've got some experience under my belt in terms of practice, which I think is you need in order to pass some of to answer some of the questions correctly on the exam. So once you have that year out of your way, go ahead and struggle through it and finish the exams. And I gave myself a deadline to be licensed at 30. And I made a sticky note, a big sticky note, put it on my computer for everybody to see. And I held myself to that standard. So, and also I know, as many people have said as well, that the longer you wait, the harder it is because, as the older you get more responsibilities, whether it's work, life, or whatever. And so it was truly a kind of now or never time for me.
Yeah, I really like that about making it public. I was recently listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, and I can't remember the name of the website. Maybe somebody, if you can think of this, you can put it into the GoToWebinar notes. But there's some website where you can essentially you can find a friend. You can donate. You can say, I want to pass the ARE before I'm 30. You put $500 into an escrow account through this website, and then your friend is the only person who can allow you to get the money. And if you fail, then something like they donate the $500 to like the worst charity that you would never ever want to donate to. So it really holds you accountable. I thought it was pretty awesome. Okay, Debbie, how about you? What do you think about taking the exam right after grad? Because you can do that now. You can take it right after you graduate. Does that sound crazy to you, or sound like really smart?
I think I would have if I'd been able to. It sounds like a good plan. It would have been easier to avoid some of the life things that came up, kiddos, if I had taken it earlier. I did learn some stuff while working that I think gave me more experience in order to have a broader understanding of some of the things. But also studying for them is, I think, a great way to develop your career because you go over some material that you touched on in school but may not have gotten into as deeply. So, I don't know.
Yeah. What do
I
you
didn't
think?
have the option, so.
Yeah. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, like we talked briefly earlier, I think taking it right out of school or give yourself a year or two just to get a little bit of experience before you're taking them. But it seems like with 5.0, with what I've seen, they've created a more holistic approach to the test. So almost seems like having more experience may be better. That's just my brief experience with some of the questions I've seen. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to take them early so that you use them as a learning tool for your career. I think that was a good approach.
Yeah, I wonder. This is an interesting question. Debbie, I wonder what your thoughts here, since you have taken a couple of the 5.0 exams. Do you feel like it does require more experience or not so much?
I think it probably does require more experience and more of a wider view of the practice of architecture, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the things I felt sort of encompassed more of my experience in the field than maybe the 4.0 did, which seemed to be more specific sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting observation.
Especially working through the code and in the now I'm blanking on what they're called, where they have the group of documents that you look through.
The case studies?
On the case studies, especially on the case studies, because that's how you work in the office. You've learned to go through those things and find the information that you need. And I felt that that was very much what we do. And so having done it a lot in the office, I found it fairly easy to find the information I needed on those. And I heard a lot of people sort of run out of time on those or take a very long time. And I don't know if that was because they had less experience in an office than I did, or, you know, just something about the way they process the information.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think it was helpful on that.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I think just going through a couple of projects in your experience would probably lend itself to the types of questions they're probably asking through the exam. So I think it makes sense, at least to me.